You ready? Are we ready to rock?
It's recording.
Okay, this is the story of Bomb Fest. Bring our music back. Because it went somewhere, apparently. And it came back at a farm in Connecticut. When we were in the middle of sort of an East Coast run with Montreal, and it was a weird tour where we would end up in college gymnasiums. And
it was like one of those tertiary market tours, as we called them.
in the biz. And so we roll up to this thing. We know we're getting paid a lot, and it's a festival, and that's pretty much all we know at this point. And then we were greeted by, what was the guy's name?
A very small, large man.
Very small, large man. Who turns out, what was his name, guys?
I don't remember his name.
We called him Big Fat, and then his son Little Big Fat. And it turns out that this guy is the vitamin water impresario of New Jersey.
No. This guy owns vitamin water. He's like a multi-millionaire.
Did he buy it from 50 Cent?
He was 50 Cent's partner.
So he was like a nickel or a dime.
You could imagine Big Fat was dressed to the nines for this occasion. There were gold chains involved and some kind of an athletic jersey, I believe.
And it's all very confusing, and we find out that his son, Little Big Fat, is doing a high school business project, and this was his thesis, was throwing this festival.
And also bringing all the music back to
Yes,
To Connecticut.
You should also list the bill, which we found out was Lupe Fiasco, Girl Talk, 30 Seconds to Mars, and Of Montreal as the headliners.
So, 30 Seconds to Mars. We're like, duh, Jordan Catalano's here. What are we gonna do with this information? And we should also explain the spread of this place. It was huge. They'd hired carnies and set up like Ferris wheels and weird janky rides.
Like face painting stations, and it was the worst festival you can possibly
Yeah, it was.
imagine.
And
And the thing is, it wasn't like one of those little dinky festival stages. It was like an actual festival stage that they had clearly gone way deep in terms of overhead on setting this thing up. They had like a huge PA, and it's like a big deal.
It was two of them, actually.
It was two
Two
full
stages,
stages,
yeah.
one right next to the other, so that bands could just start right when the other one ended.
And so they had all these, pretty legitimate acts come rolling up in tour buses, and they had this whole, horse barn thing partitioned off in little cubicles as the backstage. And it had come to their attention that it was Kevin's birthday that day. So they made this big fuss, and had made this cake, which was a monstrosity.
Well, it was kind of beautiful, too. It was
But someone had clearly spent hours of devotion to make this birthday cake for Kevin Barnes, and it looked like a special ed class had.
So we're presented with that, and all the vitamin water we wanted, and lots of booze.
which, as it turns out, is not a lot of vitamin water.
And it was also, remember, it was like 90 degrees. It was hot, and we were all drinking in the sun, and pull up next to the 30 Seconds to Mars bus. We're like, oh, this is hilarious. We can't wait to see what comes off this bus.
Right. And, sometimes in situations like these, you end up making friends with Jordan Catalano, and it's totally awesome, and you have a really fun, weird experience together. But that was not the case on this particular occasion.
So we've been riding rides, and Nikki and Michael went on the Ferris wheel wearing pig masks, and we're just having a silly time. We're like, this is massive. It looks like Pitchfork Festival, but there's, Davey estimated, maybe 1,000 people.
Maybe 1,000.
Yeah, there was no one there.
And so we all
could have easily fit 20,000 people in this field.
I think I sold about $200 worth of merch, which seems like a lot to probably the high school bands there that were around me. And I had 5 different t-shirt designs, 14 different albums, maybe a board game at the time, I don't remember. But
Meanwhile, someone else is trying to sell the potato battery that they made.
But I sold $200 worth of merch.
Many of the bands that were playing Bombfest that were not the national touring acts, we think were most likely Little Big Fat's buddies.
Yes,
Very possible.
definitely. So we kind of it's like I said, it's hot. So we sort of reconvene on the bus just to get in the air conditioning. And we see, 30 Seconds to Mars is coming off the bus.